Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. We have a lot to get into. We'll talk about the Steelers, who stood out after 1 week of training camp under Mike McCarthy. How about Joey Porter Jr.? Still no contract. When will that change? Are the Dodgers ruining baseball? But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Pirates, who lose again, 3 of 4 to the Reds. Here's your panel tonight. We have Mark Kaboly to my left or right, depending on how you're watching this, from the Pat McAfee Show. Below him, in our Brady Bunch boxes here, we have Andrew Fillipponi, PM Team 93.7 The Fan. And across from him is Brian Batko from Steelers.com. So, Pony, I'm going to start with you now. 49 games left. The Pirates have just lost 4 series in a row. Is it over? Was this the final nail in the coffin, even though there are 49 games left, or can they overcome this mess they've created?
No, it's not over. I mean, it feels like it. I mean, morale right now is probably as bad as it's been all year. This is supposed to be an energizing time with the trade deadline where reinforcements come and make you feel better about your team, but that really hasn't happened. And now you wonder if it's even salvageable 3 games out and a game under. But, I mean, look at the teams they're competing with. Philadelphia started 9-19. They're in a tailspin again. Arizona's been up and down all year. Miami got 10 games over, then they lost 12 in a row. San Diego's got the worst offense in baseball. And Mason Miller pitches the 9th inning. He doesn't pitch the first 8 innings of games. So there's a lot of question marks about every team. And Horwitz came back today. Cruz is going to come back next week. This is not a perfect team, but I think only 83 or 84 wins is going to be what it takes to make the playoffs. And I still actually think, despite all that's going wrong right now, the Pirates can still make the playoffs if they make the right moves here in the next 24-plus hours.
All right, guys, what do you think?
I agree with Pony. I mean, it's not over. It was a brutal weekend, and it's been a brutal week and a half, however far you want to stretch it out right now. But you look at the teams that they're jockeying for position with, and they're all inconsistent. It's not just the Pirates who are inconsistent. That's why they are in this wild card race, this whole glut of NL teams that aren't leading their divisions. So it's not over. I mean, you can still make some moves at the deadline. I think we're going to talk about that later. The injuries have been really rough on this team, but, you've still got options. Mitch Keller was horrendous again today, but you've got Carmen Majinski you could potentially move in there if you want to. So there's some internal options. There's potential hope on the horizon. With the deadline coming, they're not there just yet, but obviously it doesn't look good after losing 3 of 4 to the worst team in the NL Central.
Yes, and here comes the Reds. They're only 2 games behind.
But they're going to trade players, Mark. I got a feel they got 7 guys on expiring contracts. I don't think they believe in what they're doing, but go ahead.
Probably not. But, Pony said 83, 84, 85 wins. That's playing .570 ball the rest of the way. I don't think they're done quite yet now, but I think this series in Milwaukee's critical. They're going to have to win 2, 3 out of 4, whatever it is up there. But this feels a little bit different.
Mark, what the heck are you talking about? You thought they were done before the season even started.
No,
and now you're on here saying, oh, they're still alive? You said 73 and 89. Stick to your freaking guns.
I said 75
You thought they were a
wins.
bad team the whole year? This is where you come on the air and say, I was right and you guys were all wrong. Take your victory lap.
He's not burying him just yet, though, Pony. He doesn't want to put the shovel in the ground.
He buried him in March.
I was about ready to just bury him right now, but you helped me out here. I'm saying this team has been resilient, but it feels a little bit different these past 3 series. It seems like they are down in the dumps. Something's missing, and I think they're not going to be able to overcome from this. I think their worst part of this whole thing is their history. Once it starts going south, it's going to go south in a hurry here. If they're able to go into Milwaukee, their house of horrors, other than a month ago, and win some, they're still going to be in it. They're just going to have to play flawless ball here down the road, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So I think 75 wins are a lot closer than 85.
All right, one of the problems they have, and this is continuing, is their starting pitching. So I'm going to ask you guys, where does that fall in the blame game here? Because I expected so much more. Like, for example, in this series, they walked 25 Cincinnati Reds. In this series, their starters combined went for 13 innings. I know there was an opener in the first game, but still, that's been a trend. Paul Skeens has been one of the major disappointments, Brian Batko. If you had to list your blame game here, 1, 2, 3, which would it be?
Bullpen, starting pitching, injuries. And as I sit here and talk about this with these fine gentlemen, I'm almost talking myself out of what I just said, that it's not over. I'm a very literal person, so I'm always going to keep open the possibility that they could go on a tear here. But that just seems so unlikely when Skeens is scuffling the way he is. Mitch Keller, I mean, I'd probably give him one more start to see if he can recapture whatever he found out of the All-Star break. But today, yet again, was he didn't even give him a chance. You know, it's not like a Skeens start where he's laboring. Keller just blows up the game from the beginning in some of these starts. So those are the big three for me. I can't imagine these guys disagree on those.
Oh, I think pitching has to be number one. I'm going to go starting and bullpen. I mean, coming into the season, that starting pitching was supposed to be their savior right now. What happens when they have to start limiting innings with Ashcraft down the stretch here? Who's going to step in right there? We know the bullpen problems, so I'm going pitching overall. But, you know, a close second to me has to be Donnie Kelly. I mean, it's just frustrating with some of the moves he's been able to make. And number three, I think it's the front office. I think they've waited too long to try to make a move, and if they do make one here tomorrow, I think it's going to be too late. So the problem is they got a lot of different issues, and whenever they fix one, another one pops up, and that's
now you're sounding more like your usual
that's
negative Nancy
hallmark
self.
of an average team, Pony, right? It's just, that's what it is.
Well, but like I said, I don't think it's going to take much more than average to make the playoffs. Starting pitching is the most disappointing aspect of the team by far. Skeens was supposed to be the greatest pitcher of all time. Now his ERA's at 4. Keller shouldn't even be in a rotation. It's been a huge, huge, huge failing. And if the Pirates were covered the way that the Steelers are covered in this town, the pitching coach would basically have cakes made at local supermarkets that said, "Fire Bill Murphy" on them, and they would sell like crazy, because he has taken almost the same collection of pitchers, and they went from being an elite rotation and bullpen last year to one of the worst in baseball. So I still cannot believe that they made a change and messed with a good thing to the calamitous effect that it's had this year, Bob. Only the Pirates could do something like that and ruin a good thing the way that they have.
They certainly have, and there are a lot more questions than there were, you know, just a couple of months ago when they were still playing pretty well, and it's gotten worse and worse. Now they got to dig out from this mess. When we come back, we're going to talk about the trade deadline. It is tomorrow. What will Ben Cherington do? Will they be buyers or sellers? We saw one of the teams that are right there with the Pirates become a major seller tonight, something I didn't expect. What will they be? We'll get into that, and later we have a lot of Steeler conversation about starting quarterback or backup after Aaron Rodgers, and also Joey Porter Jr. It's all coming up next right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. In kind of a surprising move, the Washington Nationals, just one game behind the Pirates in the chase for the wild card, made a trade today. A lot of people thought they might be buyers. They got a good young team, but one of them, Luis Garcia Jr., is on his way to the Yankees, even though he has the best slugging percentage of anyone in the National League. He's 26 years old, 83 runs batted in. So they decided they're going to be sellers. Andrew, what should the Pirates be, given the fact we saw that, and knowing they have some expiring contracts, specifically Brandon Lau?
I mean, they should be what they should do what they often do, and that's be a shrewd buyer. Okay, and they're never going to be, other than that horrible Archer trade, they're never going to be a crazy purchaser. They're not going to be maxing out credit cards. But to me, you've come this far. You're still technically in the mix, being 3 games out. You've sold your fans in the preseason that this was an important year, a pivotal year. You're close. Try to finish the job and try to get this team some bullpen help and maybe a right-handed hitter and even a left-handed starting pitcher. So I know I just rattled off 3 or 4 things, but try to check as many of those boxes as you can over the next few hours and make those deals. And don't wave the white flag and tell us about prospects who might never actually pan out in a trade for a Brandon Lau or a Gregory Soto or someone like that.
Yeah, I think I lean toward buyer as well. I can't see them selling off some of those big names that finally brought them some equity with the fan base, with Ben Cherington and those acquisitions this offseason. But I'm almost going to go cop-out route here and say we're going to come away from the deadline and feel like they weren't fully a buyer and weren't fully a seller either way. Very Pirates-y, as Andrew said there.
Well, then what's the point, Brian? That's the whole point here. If you're
spinning your wheels and hoping that the guys you have play better and pitch better.
Okay, well, we've watched a lot of them go the other way. Almost the entire starting staff has regressed, including Mr. Cy Young. You know, I mean, if you're going to make a move, to me, make the big splash move. And if you're not, then turn it around, Mark. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, if you were going to make the big splash move, you probably should have done it a week ago. We already saw
Agreed.
some people move here a little bit. So I think I agree with Batko here, man. They're going to play the murky middle here a little bit. I think you're going to come and have a player that you're underwhelmed with, but at least they added somebody. They're going to play it right down the middle. They're not going to get rid of anybody important. They're not going to get anybody important. They're going to hopeful that their guys that they have assembled in the offseason here can pick it up, and they think O'Neal Cruz, you'll probably hear, well, Cruz is coming back. That's just like adding another guy, you know. So I think they need to do something. I wish it would go all in one way or the other. But I think tomorrow around this time, or 4 or 6 o'clock, whenever it is, I think we're going to say, is that it?
Well, to your incredulity, Bob, I mean, I think it's just the reality of where they are. I mean, that's just, it doesn't really make a ton of sense, I don't think, to them to make that big move, because they have been this inconsistent and they are in this pack of teams jumbled up in the NL.
All right, let's talk about the Dodgers now. They went out and did what I think everyone thought they would. Tarek Skubal, two-time back-to-back Cy Young winner. Andrew is on his way to the Dodgers, which puts him on a staff which has like 100 Cy Young winners. They have deferred payments over $1 billion. They just keep doing everything. Have they ruined baseball for you?
Well, no, they haven't ruined it, because I'm still watching games and I still care about what happens. I mean, they've taken a lot of the competitiveness out of it in terms of the suspense of who's going to win, because it feels like it's a foregone conclusion again. I will say, in this instance, though, okay, this is them not winning a bidding war. This is them not flaunting their money. I know that some teams did not want to take on Skubal's salary for the rest of the year, so in that respect, it wasn't like the Rays or even the Brewers were going to get him, but the Cubs could have afforded to give up prospects. The Yankees could have. The Red Sox could have made a better deal. A lot of other teams in this instance could have made a more competitive offer than the one the Dodgers did. So this is one of the rare instances where I don't really point the finger at them and say they did anything wrong. To me, I blame the other teams. Why weren't they more active or interested in getting the premier starting pitcher who was available at the trade deadline?
They didn't want to deal with a future cost. And if you're a rental player, which I'm fine with.
Bob, there is no future cost. It's just the rest of the year.
I know it is a future cost in terms of the $400 million that he wants after this year. That's the future cost. When I'm saying he's a rental player right now, Mark, and that's fine. Any team could have gotten him, and you could have justified it by saying, we want to win now. He can get us there. The Milwaukee Brewers did it with CC Sabathia. There have been teams that have done it. So I get it. But what I'm saying to you is the Dodgers, they know they're going to give him whatever he wants, and no one else will come close.
Yeah, I say boo-hoo to the rest of the league. If you wanted him, go get him. I mean, what the Detroit gave up was, what the Dodgers gave up was 2 prospects, 2 homegrown guys, too. So, I'm sure a lot of other teams have homegrown guys they could move on from him as well. You think the Tigers really wanted to trade the Dodgers, or are they just doing what's best for the organization? If somebody really wanted him, step up and offer him something that they can take. I know they have Dodgers have a little bit of unfair advantage with that. So, well, they can swing and miss on some of these prospects, then go pay somebody next year. But in this case, I think if somebody else wanted him, go get him, and they didn't. Oh well.
I guess I'll be the obvious guy who says the obvious thing here and takes the conversation to this place and say boo-hoo to just baseball in general, the entire structure of it, that a team like the Dodgers can make these moves year after year. To Pony's point, do I think it's ruined baseball? No. If the Dodgers do run roughshod over everybody, and teams like the Brewers, whose fan bases were into a magical season, are left holding the bag at the end of the day, I won't say that the Dodgers did it. I'll say that baseball has done this to themselves, and it'll continue to just perpetuate this discussion about needing a cap.
Which is why this is going to happen in the offseason. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do some over and unders on the Pittsburgh Steelers and the AFC North as well as talk about the backup quarterback situation. All next right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. All right, welcome back. We're talking about the Steelers. Week 1, Mike McCarthy camp is in the books. Tomorrow the pads come out. All right, Mark Kaboly, I want to start with you on this one, and that is Joey Porter Jr. We haven't heard much about it, if anything's going on. He's on a list right now, which to me looks like a list that was designed just to keep him off of the storylines here. I don't know if he was going to hold in or not, but he is where he is. Will they get a contract done with him, and how much will they have to pay, given the fact that there have been some recent contracts that take it up over $30 million a year?
Yeah, look at the history. There hasn't been many people that they went down to the wire and didn't sign. I mean, maybe Le'Veon Bell's one of them. I think it's just going to take some time here, and I think it all has to do with guaranteed money. I've been saying this forever. I'm not looking at the overall money. I'm not looking at the $30 million per season or whatever it can be. Tell me what those first 2 years are. Tell me how much of that is guaranteed, and that's what they're waiting out for. I mean, who cares about the stupid PUP list, right? He was going to hold in anyway, so if it takes a little pressure off the situation, it doesn't matter. I think he eventually will be signed. Who knows when that will be, but I guarantee it will be before the season starts. They will lock him up, but he's going to have to. They're going to have to give him something like close to 45, 50 million in guaranteed, I would assume. That's a lot of money.
Did I hear you guarantee that they're going to get Joey?
Guaranteed.
All right. I don't disagree. I don't know that I ever want to speak in absolutes like Mr. Kaboly over here, but
Sith Lord?
yeah, I think they will sign him, Bob. I do, and you know the cornerback market complicated a little bit right now by just the skyrocketing deals, and probably some of the players you don't necessarily expect to be up at the top are, but I think it's always a way to sweeten the pot when you talk about that guaranteed money. Take some jelly beans out of one side, whether that's over annual value, and put them in the guaranteed side of things to make the player happy. But, you know, I can remember a few years ago when Deontay Johnson was asking for a new deal, and it seemed like the Steelers were miles apart from Deontay Johnson. I remember this because my daughter was born right around the same time. Happy early birthday to her. This was going on during early parts of camp, and then a couple days later, boom, they get a deal done. So it can sort of happen at any time.
Yeah, I just don't know how they value him. I mean, Mark's saying guaranteed money, but what kind of guaranteed money does Porter want? Does he want guaranteed money that looks like the very top of the cornerback food chain? Does he look at McDuffie? Does he look at Ward? Does he look at what he's heard Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez are going to get? And if he puts himself in that category, do the Steelers agree? And can they find compromise? You'd like to think they can, because they, generally speaking, do find a way to do long-term agreements with the really good young players that they like, and that's what Porter is. But if they've got a difference of opinion of just what kind of corner he is, you know, there's a difference between elite and very good. And if he thinks one way and they think the other, I don't know, maybe this is more complicated than it is, and it could drag on. But
the interesting thing about it too, Pony, is I mean some of the metrics, the advanced stuff you want to look at, say elite, but you look at just the accolades that you often use for these comps, and
right.
Joey doesn't have them. So I imagine that makes for a difficult conversation all around with his side in the Steelers.
Yeah, I think the elite comes with 1 year, though. He has 2 iffy years and 1 elite year, too, so that complicates things as well.
I have about a minute left of this, so we have to squeeze it in. That would be backup quarterback situation. Brian, is it Mason Rudolph firmly entrenched as number 2? That's one part. Number 2, will they keep 4 quarterbacks if need be?
Well, status quo so far with the quarterback depth chart, but if there's going to be change, I think you're going to have to get much deeper into training camp and much deeper into the preseason to see that change enacted. I'd still be surprised if they keep 4, but I won't rule it out.
You know where I'm going. I mean, Mason's entrenched here. I think it's going to take a lot for him not to get that number 2, but I would 100% keep 4 guys. Absolutely.
yeah, I think if they do, they're going to have to get cute about it and creative, and maybe they will. Will that stall a guy's development, though, if he's put on an inactive list where he can't do anything but watch? I don't know. There's not really a lot of reps for guys to go around once the season starts anyway. So to me, I look at the big picture of things, and I'd rather keep guys around that I think can eventually be my starting quarterback big picture long term, and that would be Howard and Allard, Bob.
That's right, and that battle will begin on the first preseason game, August 13th, right here on KDKA. When we come back, we're going to talk about over and unders because they're out right now. What do you think about the teams of the AFC North? That's next right here on KDKA. Welcome back. Number 1 Cochran has gone all in on Audi. 2 showrooms, 3 locations for service. Pittsburgh's largest new Audi collection. Exclusive benefits through Club One Rewards, because when you're a number 1 Cochran Premier brand, you don't take half measures. Find Audi Pittsburgh on Liberty Avenue in the Strip District, Audi Washington on Racetrack Road. Shop online, AudiPittsburgher.com or AudiWashington.com. All right, it's early. I know, fun game to play. Gentlemen, I'll give you 4 teams and over and unders. Tell me over or under. Steelers are 8.5. Baltimore's 10.5. Cincinnati's 9.5. Cleveland's 5.5. Pony, you go first.
You want me to just rattle through all of them?
Yeah, whatever, over, under, whichever you think.
Steelers have their first losing season since 2003, so they're under. And I'll take the other 3 teams to all go over.
Even 10.5 with Baltimore.
I think,
wow.
I think the Ravens are going to finish with the second best record in the AFC this season.
All right.
Steelers over. They always go over. I'll be wrong before I'll be late before I'm wrong on that one. Ravens under, probably not by much, but under. Bengals over. Browns under.
Negative Nelly Pony here, but I'm going the Ravens under, but I'm going to say all three of those top teams are all 10-win teams, and the Browns will win like 3 games. So Ravens over, Ravens under, Steelers over, Bengals over, but all 10-7, baby.
Yeah, you just copied Batko.
Yes, you
You
did.
could have just said what Brian said.
Yes.
I don't pay attention. I wasn't paying attention.
Embrace debate.
Real quick, 10 seconds each. Which is the easiest bet to make of these 4 teams?
The Browns under.
Oh,
Actually,
I think it's Bengals over.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. That seems low. I feel like I've seen a lot of the advanced stuff saying that the Bengals are the favorites to win this division.
well, if Joe Burrow's healthy, you know what he can do, and he can masquerade a bad defense. We're
Steelers
going to take a
over.
break and be back right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. 45 seconds left. Let's go around the horn real quick. Will the Pirates make the playoffs? Yes or no? Mark?
Next.
There's just too much bunched up. I can't see it.
I will say no, but I want to say yes, and I think it'll be closer than Mark thinks, which isn't saying much.
We all
I
want
want to say yes, too. I think it's phenomenal to watch that kind of baseball in September and October, but at this point, it looks like no. That's going to wrap it up for us. Our thanks to Mark Kaboly, Andrew Fillipponi, Brian Batko, and thank you for watching us here at the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown each and every Sunday night, 11:35 KDKA. Have a good week, and we'll see you tomorrow on KDKA.